Hi, everyone. Welcome to How Do You Meditate? I am your host, Tyler Gravely, meditation teacher and wellness consultant. I am so grateful that you are here. This podcast is all for you, and it's about making meditation accessible and understanding what the journey can be like to travel inward. I believe that when we are seeking some form of meditation, we are seeking a lifestyle change that builds our strength mentally and physically, something that helps us find acceptance and unlocks the possibilities that are waiting for us. Meditation really is this beautiful opportunity to heal and transform the outcome of your future. You can expect to hear stories on how others find wellness in meditation and how they incorporate it into their everyday life. I promise that you're going to hear something in each episode that helps spark the light in you to shift and take control over your own mind. You might laugh, you might cry, and you are going to transform the space within so that you can answer the question when asked, how do you meditate? Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment and ask you if, as of lately, you've been feeling completely stressed, perhaps lost, you're not sure where you're headed, total moments of anxiety, depression, you're down on your luck, you're at a fork in the road, you're missing something, and you don't know what it is. But if you had something else, or you could see a way out of your mind, and you had the ability to do so, you could be open to the presence of something else that would bring you joy, peace, happiness, excitement for what is to come. I have been in those shoes about, I don't even know how many times because I can't count. And I want you to know that being on this journey, it takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of patience. And those are two things that I've been able to cultivate because of a meditation and mindfulness practice. The other thing is you got to talk about it. You've got to start talking about it. And so I am here to help guide you and help you uncover and discover what could be possible for your life if you had some clarity in the direction that you were headed. So I'm offering up, this is only going to be for a limited time because I don't have a lot of time right now, but I have time for 5 people. And I'm putting that out there that I want to help 5 people come together and help them uncover what's possible for them and help them discover a life that they feel excited for, cared for, loved, and that the possibilities seem endless. So, with that being said, this is my offer. If this is something that you're interested in, you can email me at hello@tylergravely.com and we can sit down for 30 minutes and just see if this would be a good fit for you. And it's absolutely free, and I'm here to help. So let me let you know that email again. It's hello@tylergravely.com. Don't hesitate to reach out. This is only for a limited time. So today is May 15th. I'm going to give it until May 30th. So if you hear this episode by then, reach out. Let's uncover something for you. And then we'll just see about getting this process started, getting it together. So can't wait to hear from you, and I'll talk to you soon. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of How Do You Meditate? Last week we had Danielle Laurent on, and this week it's me. I'm going to be sharing a lot today. Let's get into it. So we're going to be talking a little bit today about the parts of ourself and how we go back to rescue those parts. And then I'm going to start with the question of how long do we sit and look at the past? And my answer to that is as long as it takes. So yesterday I was thinking about how it's been 5 months since my last relationship ended and how they've really shaped me. And yesterday I was just really in the presence of gratitude of being able to explore these new possibilities in my life and of being alone. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud, that I'm grateful to be alone. And I say that because I just can't imagine this is how it used to be for me. Relationship hopping, dragging old stuff into this new relationship, just not having any intention around getting into a relationship, and just the mess that it creates internally. Knowing that I've done this, I feel like I can speak on how doing it a different way is shaping who I am and how it can shape who you are. It's most definitely true that without looking, you can't see and learn the lessons. And also it's just this big ball of harm. There's no consciousness in it. It's not conscious for yourself. It's not conscious for another person. And it really speaks so opposite of what mindfulness and meditation is when we are hopping to avoid feelings. So after this episode, you're going to get to know more about exploring the different parts of yourself. So exciting. And why it's okay to do so. And what meditation brings to this exploration and how you yourself can do this. You can do it. I believe in you. And this doesn't have to actually be about relationships with a romantic partner. This can be a job. This can be with friendships. It's all about just clearing it all up before you insert something new. And I just think how powerful it's been in my own life and how powerful it will be in your life upon implementing this practice into your life. So being that this is a meditation podcast, of course, how do you meditate? And a podcast on all the different ways to meditate. We're talking about how mindfulness and meditation play a role in discovering all the parts of the self. And that is with the capital S, capital S-E-L-F, self. So we're going to get into that. My therapist has always asked me, Tyler, what are you meditating on? And, I'm like, I'm meditating. What do we mean? And what am I meditating on? I'm meditating. So if meditation is this deep insight into the self, capital S, and it's a way to rewire, to relax, to contemplate, perhaps to take a moment for yourself, to uncover and discover what it is you really want. So insert today, we talk today about IFS. IFS stands for Internal Family Systems, that was created by Richard C. Schwartz. So, what does that mean? My business partner mentioned IFS to me back in February, and it's been interesting to do some research into it. And as I'm reading this book about trauma and how the body keeps the score, Richard Schwartz was in it, and he mentions that the goal of IFS is an evidence-based treatment to embody the self, heal our injured parts so that we can live with confidence, that we're guided by curiosity and compassion. How cool is that? Live with confidence, guided by curiosity and compassion. And the goal of IFS is to embody the more different parts of ourself rather than trying to eliminate them so that we can change up our inner dialogue. Cool, right? I mean, to me, when I hear that, I'm like, so much of my life has been eliminating the parts of myself that I don't like about myself, right? Because it's I don't like that. I'm going to eliminate it. But what if there's this possibility of, instead of elimination, we're changing up how we talk to ourselves about it, our own inner dialogue. So here is where I believe meditation is really crucial. And when I keep reading about it and I keep seeing it and how it comes into play. So you can go to therapy, you can go talk to your friends, you can go do all the things. But if you're not aware of what's really occurring inside, awareness plays such a crucial role in how we look at ourselves. And there's 1,000 million transformational programs out there. And I'm raising my hand right now. I've been in all of them. Okay. I go to everybody in the world and I'm like, yes, because I love transformation. I love how it makes me feel. I love the possibility that it gives me. I love everything about it. And as I'm walking through these programs, what I realized for myself is that you can't necessarily take on the possibilities that they're giving to you unless you're aware of what it is and how you work. And that is where meditation comes in. That is where you have to understand the mechanism of the human body, the brain, what's going on inside of you. So you can't really identify these inner parts of yourself without knowing how to meditate or understanding the practice of mindfulness. And like, let me clarify. So meditation is like you're sitting, you're going in, it's a moving meditation. There can be all kinds of things. Mindfulness is like, for example, when you brush your teeth, you're really saying like, I'm brushing my teeth. I feel that tooth. I feel my saliva. I feel X, Y, and Z. Like we could go very much detailed oriented into mindfulness practice. Another example, washing the dishes, like I'm washing this bowl. Look at the curves of the bowl, how the water feels on your hands, what you're smelling, what you're experiencing. That's mindfulness. It's really slowing down. So meditation is like you're sitting or you're walking and slowing down. Mindfulness is more like bringing it into everyday life. So if you're listening to this, you're most definitely here to explore even this idea that we have different parts of ourselves. Like there's not just like that it's like a pizza. A pizza is one big food thing. It's like on a plate. It's a huge pizza, but then you cut it up and there's different slices. So it's the same with you. You're a big human, right? And then on the inside, there's so many different moving slices and pieces of you. So there's no question that you can't look inside to even go as far as to exploring the possibility of this situation if you are not even practicing meditation. You're just wandering around like you don't understand that you're even like there's something else within you. So let's get really clear on what looking inside feels like and what that could possibly feel like for you. Because I want to give you an idea what meditation, quote unquote, feels like. Okay. So my favorite meditation experience dates back to the first time I've ever explored sitting meditation. And this was with Baron Baptiste in Hilo, Hawaii in 2013. Now, up until this point, I've been practicing Bikram yoga religiously, and something just drew me to the Baptiste practice. And I'll tell you, I hadn't been studying vinyasa. I didn't really know. I mean, like, that was a new thing for me. It's like, oh, yoga? Okay, yeah. But then yoga is also like a ton of different parts as well. There's so many different types of practices out there. So vinyasa being one of them, I felt called to explore it. So there I am in a room full of 150 people or so. It's a beautiful, like, open air room, like a big wooden floor, and it's like you're surrounded. It's in the middle of a jungle. I can hear the birds chirping. Oh my gosh, it's like you can smell, like, it's just Hawaii's like the perfect temperature. It was rainy, like as in drizzly, just beautiful. Sun's out, but it's like it rains there. It's like gorgeous. And he's teaching us how to sit. So one of the ways he's teaching us is you sit on 2 yoga blocks and you put them under your butt. So you're sitting on them, but it's like you're straddling a horse. And so your knees are bent forward and your feet are backwards towards the back of the room. And your hands are on your knees and you're sitting up nice and tall and you just try to relax. And I close my eyes and I don't get what I'm looking for. I hear him speaking, but I lose what he's saying half the time because I'm thinking so much about not thinking, right? And attempting to hear what he has to say. And I can smell the Nag Champa incense burning. I hear people cough. I hear the birds, but I don't know if I'm doing it right. So he takes us out of it and we get a moment to move around, breathe, open our eyes, roll our neck around. And then he asks us to go back into it, but find a different way to sit. So I move the blocks and I sit cross-legged on top of one block. My hands are on my knees and I close my eyes. He guides us again. And this time it felt easier to just go there. And I don't necessarily remember, at this point if I was thinking, but the second time around, I definitely noticed that the resistance to it was less for me. And I just feel this overwhelming sense of peace. And I know I feel good, and that the voice in my head was softer and it wasn't as loud. And he takes us out of it. And then he reads us a poem by Melody Beattie. It's a book called Journey to the Heart. And I don't know, for what I'm thinking and understanding now is that there's something about sensory deprivation and exploration that the words just land easier on my heart. Like I can hear every word he's saying. And in that moment, language means something to me. And I see how important it is to communicate with love and just how beautiful our words are. And in that moment, I fall in love with meditation, and I've been exploring it now over 8 years. Now, I could tell you so many stories like this one, but what meditation is going to feel like for you and for me and for each and every person on this planet is going to be different. What I know to be true is that you can trust that it will be different, and you can trust that it will never be the same from moment to moment, like how it just changes each and every time you sit. And whether you're sitting in the same place or not, you open your eyes, you close your eyes, it's different. So if we were all together in a room and I were to ask, who here loves traveling? I think for the most part, obviously, sure, the airport is meh, and, germs and whatnot, but we love to visit new places. Like, we love to go on vacation. If I were to ask you, like, hey, who wants to go on vacation? Everybody would be like, yes, I want to go. So when you sit to meditate, here's an opportunity to think of it like that. Sure, like I said, maybe the airport's busy and germs, they're scary, like what ifs? Like we don't, what if our flight doesn't go out on time? What if the plane cancels? What if we don't get there? What if it takes us 17 hours instead of 5? All the things. And then you arrive at your destination and you are so grateful to have gone on said trip because you get there and you're relaxing and you're at ease because you made it and you get to see whatever it is that you wanted to see, and you're just out of your everyday life, right? You're out of the norm. So each and every time you sit to meditate, it's just like that. What kind of experience is it going to be in this moment? We are looking at the trip maybe, but we don't exactly know how the trip will go. So now I'm going to take us back in the beginning when I was mentioning Richard Schwartz and IFS. I'm honestly wanting to talk about this today because I'm bringing this up because the first time in my life, and after these 5 months of going from quote unquote dating the love of my life for 2.5 years, and I was in a relationship, to now being quote unquote alone, I want to understand what happened. And there's questions I ask myself. Where did I go wrong? I don't want to make the same mistake again. It's like the protector in me is like, don't F that up again. Like, whoo, we ain't going there, because it was so painful. Especially when, I guess it's all painful, but like when you're the one that gets broken up with, there's this immediate sense of like rejection, and like when you don't want it, I think it's like, ugh. It's like, hold on, I didn't see this coming. Like, we're supposed to be like getting married and whatnot. Like, I don't get it. I don't know what's happening. So I definitely think that there's this part that's like, I want to understand what happened so I don't make the same mistake again, because I don't want to feel that pain again. So how could I possibly do that? I mean, obviously this is life, and I thought that I made the right choice. I thought that I would never have to feel that again. But there has to be a lesson in here somewhere if it's happened again. So in order to do that, I have to understand, like, even as a meditator, what is the lesson in this? And I say that with so much love because I'm a prime example of somebody who's been meditating for years and still things happen. So here, 5 months ago, walks IFS. And I am just learning and understanding how I have different parts that, quote unquote, manage my emotions. So I'm just going to let one out for myself. My whole life, I've been saying I am bad. I'm a victim of my circumstance. I'm a hot mess. What a dumbass I am for choosing him. Right? Okay, great. That serves nobody. Serves no one. And I'm learning that there's parts of me that really believe that. I literally have a part inside of me that says, way to pick 'em, Tyler. Another part that says, you did your best. A part of me right afterwards was like, let's cut off all your hair and get tattoos and go out on the town and drink like crazy and have sex with everybody. And these parts are here to protect me and serve me. However, I don't necessarily need them for the roles that they carry. And I have, over the last 5 months, been doing some hiring and firing work on CEO Tyler Gravely. So let's talk about what IFS is. There's 3 parts, and they are the exiles, the managers, the firefighters, and understanding them leads to healing old wounds and that inner child for us. So this is from Richard Schwartz. It says, the exiles represent psychological trauma, and they're often from childhood, and they carry the pain and fear. Now, exiles may become isolated from the other parts and polarize the system. And so then you have the managers and the firefighters trying to protect a person's consciousness by preventing the exile's pain from coming into awareness. Then you have the managers. The managers take on a preemptive, protective role. In this book, he was saying that managers are some of the most, he finds managers to be very successful people, like doctors, physicians. I know I said that twice. All CEOs, top people, like they take on because they're always wanting to be in control. They're managing everything in their life. They influence the way a person interacts with the external world, protecting that person from harm and preventing painful or traumatic experiences from flooding the person's conscious awareness. And then you have firefighters. Firefighters emerge when exiles break out and demand attention. Firefighters are like, let's burn the house down. They work to divert attention away from the exile's hurt and shame, which leads to impulsive and or inappropriate behaviors like overeating, drug use, or violence. And they can distract a person from pain by excessively focusing attention on more subtle activities such as overworking or over-medicating. So I have an exiled part, and the exiled part is the little girl that carries humiliation, embarrassment, confusion, and shame. And I've really been looking at my life and where else this happened for me when I was little. This isn't to blame like my parents or anything like that. It's the human condition. Someone says something and we feel embarrassed, we feel humiliated, we feel confused, we feel shame. It's already happening to your children, two children. It's like, as a human, our parents say something and we make it mean something. And you have to think about like how it would mean to a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old, because when you're 8 is when you start understanding the self. I think that I've read that before, where it's about 8 years old, you start to go, there's something inside of here. So I've always wanted someone to love me. Somewhere along the path, I felt like I wasn't good enough to be lovable. And meditation has allowed me, whether it's, what is the word? Whether you're imagining it or whatnot, that's what Richard Schwartz says in the book, like, just take it for what it is. When you go inside, it might seem silly to be like, I'm rescuing my little 7-year-old self, where my mom says this, or my dad said this, or the kids at school said this, or my grandma said this, or my grandpa said this, or my uncle did this. And a meditation allows me to really look at her with love, like as if you would look at a child that you are in love with, your kid, how you protect them. You got to go back and protect yourself and rescue that self and tell her or him, this will never happen again. I am so here for you. And that is like meditation. You're going in, you're finding that, and whether it's imagination or not, guess what? According to this research, it works. So the managers in me protect me. That's the part that tell me you did your best. When I say to myself, no one will ever love me. When my inner critic part says, no one will ever love me. Oh, honey, like, no, you did your best. Like, it's like trying to cover that up, right? And so moving that protector out of the way, moving that critic out of the way, what do I see? What opens up for me? And this is the situation where the managers are actually doing a little bit more harm, because they're not allowing me to look at the past of the little girl. That's the part that's saying like, hey, I'm protecting these injured parts. Like, it's cool. Like, let's keep going. But guess what? It comes out later in life, because we always have to go back and look at this. Now, the firefighter does anything to make emotional pain go away. Managers give a sense of control, or firefighters burn the house down. That is like when it was in the beginning of this breakup, I'm like, let's cut all my hair off. Let's go out and drink. Let's go shopping. Let's get tattoos. Let's move across the world. Like, all the things that are like firefighters just trying to protect. And they do that by like blowing a lot of hot air and steam on it, so that it just like, you're not feeling anything. I hope that makes sense. So this is really just a very broad overview, but all of these parts, the manager, the exiled, the firefighter, they're here to protect this exiled child. And guess what? We spend our adulthood attempting to let go of the past. And what is so ironic is that we have to get closer to the past in order to let it go. So, to wrap this up, I am just here to introduce you to Richard Schwartz's work and the parts of the self with a capital S today. What meditation explores, and going back into this journey of your own heart. And being here to understand what meditation can bring for you. Like, how do you do it? How do you sit and meditate? Somebody might even ask me, Tyler, how did you get through all of this? Like, how do you do it? How do you literally, like, that stuff seems so painful. And guess what? I don't really necessarily always like it. When I'm seeing my blind spots and I'm in this work of it, it's a lot of understanding. And I understand now that I have so much like love to give myself and to give to other people. And when I see people going through a breakup, and I have a lot, it's interesting because the universe brings you people. Like you start doing this work, the universe like, okay, you've done it here. Here's what's showing up. Like, here's somebody you need to help. Here's somebody you need to help. Here's somebody else you need to help. Here, speak about this. Come on. Like the world needs so much healing. And we can start by looking at ourselves, because I can tell you right now, I speak to women every day, and God bless what is happening and how we're screwing people up by not looking at this. You know? Like how mean it all is. Like how can somebody tell you, you are the love of my life. I would bend over backwards for you. You make my heart melt. You're the prettiest girl on the planet. And then they just walk away into another relationship. They cheated on you. It's over. Bye-bye. So, we're wrapping this up, and you've been introduced to the parts of the self. What meditation explores, this journey into your own heart. And you might even ask yourself right now, well, why should I do the work if nobody else is? And I know that that's come up for me in meditation so many times. Why do I have to do this work? And that's just such a selfish victim mentality. It's not conscious at all. We do this work because it matters. Because, there's no destination to this. And I know that it takes courage to confront the exiled child. I get it. So what I'm leaving with, and what I'm present to in this episode, is that how we cope with our feelings as humans and this human condition, because every single person does this. And we're finding the self-love to figure it out so that we aren't harming ourselves or others. This is about self-love. This is about raising the vibration. This is about healing. And I do believe that when we are committed to our word, we relearn to trust ourselves, and we open doors where there were only walls before. And you get more freedom. You get to just walk away. You get to understand who you are in this life, and you get to do what you love every single day. And every single day you get more in touch with the universe. You get more connected, and you get to really have more joy and not be lost in thoughts. Can you imagine if the whole world was meditating, and we all did that, and we got to see how we are affecting the planet differently, and how we have a choice in the matter, and how we get to cause great, enormous amounts of love, and without all this confusion and chaos. I really want that. I really, 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 really want that. So I'm here to support that. I'm here to support this journey into discovery of ourselves, and to rescuing those inner parts of ourselves that need love, and to continue forward to find peace and calmness and relaxation and joy and traveling. So we're traveling all the time in this life and in ourselves, and then we find it, and we get to enjoy where we just landed. Happy meditating, you guys, you gals, you everybody. And I just so appreciate you listening in, and I love you, and I'm here for you. And know that we're all here to do this work together. All right. I'll see you next week.